My Derby name is K.O.K.O Brown. I have been playing for roughly about 8 years now. I started in December of 2011. What do I do outside of Derby? I actually am a City of Fontana coordinator. I work for a community-based organization, and I coordinate all of the youth sports for the city. I discovered roller derby through my place of employment. One day we received a phone call, and it was actually from the Foothill Foxy Flyers. They called into my place of employment to ask to rent our facility. I heard roller derby, and I really didn't have any awareness as to what it was. Immediately started Googling. With my background of recreationally skating, it immediately drew me in. On top of that, naturally just being drawn to contact sports, thinking that you can combine the two was just an automatic draw to me. My league that I play for is the IE Derby Divas. We play currently out of Grand Terrace, California, and our home rink is Cal Skate Grand Terrace. Our league currently consists of 90 active paying members, and those are actually members of the league who are skating. The IE Derby Divas were actually established in 2006. That being said, this season is our lucky number 13 season, which is what we like to call it. Having 90 active members of our league, we've experienced a ton of growth. We also had to break that down into multiple skill sets. We do have a Betties group, which is pretty much our fresh meat program. And immediately following the Betties would be our Vixens. Our Vixens are scrimmage eligible women who have just graduated the Betties program and are now getting the experience to be belt eligible. Our knockouts are our girls who have graduated from the scrimmage level into the belt eligible category of our members, and they are the regional team that compete against all of the local leagues. Now, something new to us this season has been our divas. You know, we've always called ourselves the IE Derby Divas, but the divas have actually been classified as our top level athletes of our league. They are our charter team. They are the ones that are recognized by WIFTA, and they are the ones that actually travel more statewide, and this season we're actually going to be venturing out of state as well. A typical derby week for the IE Derby Divas consists of 3 practice days. Those practice days for us are Mondays and Wednesday evenings from 7:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. and then on Sundays from 9 a.m. to 12 noon. During those practices, on Mondays, you'll see a more heavily endurance-based practice. That's something that we've really prided ourselves on focusing on this year because we have become a little bit more competitive this season, and we know that that's something that we really need to work on as far as our athleticism. Our Wednesdays do consist of scrimmage nights, and then our Sundays were intended to be for a focal point for our charter team, which is our travel team. But because we have such a large group of eager, hungry Betties, they've pretty much taken over that day, which we're completely okay with. A lot of our veteran players do still attend on Sundays, but they actually attend with the motivation of supporting those Betties and their graduation and focusing and honing in on those skills that they need to pass and advance to the next level. We do actually have a monthly TOS, which is a themed open scrimmage that we provide as well. That really started as a small idea for us to just get some fun time in. With our growth and joining the WIFTA organization, things got a little serious for us, and we wanted to be athletes and all that good stuff, but we still wanted to incorporate some of those fun nights where we dress up, we join some of our sisters from the surrounding leagues, open up our league for everyone to come and visit and see what we're about. The furthest in my experience since I've been a part of the league that we've traveled has been Lake Tahoe. That in itself, just the location, especially for a nature buff like myself, was amazing. It started off as a tournament that was open to just leagues that wanted to come up and be competitive. It then transcended into a WIFTA sanctioned tournament. When that happened, we weren't actually a part of WIFTA officially at that time, and you could say that we were a little bit out of our league, but it was always a great learning experience for us. We were always really well known in that tournament as being one of the funnest leagues to play against. And just being in Tahoe in itself was great with your teammates. On top of that, we've had a lot of many great experiences in Tahoe, but also not so great. Example, the wildfires. But the camaraderie that we have with those leagues and we built was an integral part of our foundation and our growth from there on. Roller derby in Southern California is, I guess you would say, popular. It is something that is growing. It has been established for some time. Example, the IE Derby Divas being established since 2006, and I know there are a few other local leagues that have been established for a similar amount of time. I would have to say that there are a lot of leagues. There's a lot of growth happening. I think in the Inland Empire alone, there are, to my knowledge, off the top of my head, about 3 leagues now that are WIFTA and full-fledged leagues and members, and that is huge. I think if I had to say what Derby is in Southern California, before it was very recreational based, and now I do see the competitiveness increasing with a lot of the leagues in the surrounding area. Roller derby in Southern California is also, I would have to say, 10 to 15 leagues in our surrounding area. With our league's growth and our goals within this last season, it has taken us away from playing some of those local teams as much as we normally would have in past seasons. Is that something that we will continue to do? Absolutely not, because home is home, and that is always going to be a goal of ours. In our league in itself, our knockouts is the team that will be playing the local leagues a lot more frequently versus the divas. Making roller derby a better experience for the players in Southern California, to me, would be working together a little bit more frequently. I know that sounds very cliche, but if I could expand on that just a little bit more, what that framework would look like is creating a more uniform experience for the leagues. The things that we do, not overextending our resources and working smarter and not harder. Not to say that the leagues in itself don't practice these things. I just think that as a whole, if we really want to see growth for the sport and the direction that a lot of us, I would have to say, want to see the sport go into, it's really going to take a lot more communication and working together for us to, just as an example, marketing alone, setting up some framework as to how we do that as a sport and not just individual leagues. And again, we can really go deeper into this, but that's just one out of many. The sport of roller derby and the future, I believe the options are endless. If we, like I said in the past questions that I answered, work together. But I think in a perfect world, obviously everybody's answer will probably be that we want to see it in the Olympics. But in working together and creating that uniform and combining resources, I think the perfect world for me too would be increasing our fan base and getting our communities a lot more involved. I had a conversation with one of my league mates right before this interview, and something that we were talking about was the support, the camaraderie, and just the community following that college sports have. How can we be the next set of college, let's say, athletes that are in our community that have that following, and what can we do to build that? I'd like to say to my future self, enjoy the time that you have left in Derby. You have goals that you still want to reach, even though you've had a long career per se already, but enjoy the rest of your time that you have left. Yeah. I try.